Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I am Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, in this episode, we are going to preview the Rose Bowl between Alabama and Notre Dame. This is, of course, taking place at Jerry World rather than Pasadena because of restrictions due to COVID there. Let us know in the comments your score predictions, who you think is going to cover that 20-point spread. Our predictions are going to come later in the episode, but first, let's go through some prop bets. So we made up our own props for this game, and Ryan, why don't you go first?
All right, let's do it. So my prop bet is over or under 10.5 yards per attempt for Mac Jones in this game.
All right, this is a tough one because against the best two defenses on the schedule, Mac Jones had 13 yards per attempt against Georgia and 16.1 against A&M. So he is clearly fully capable of having monster games, even against the best defenses on the schedule, against, defenses as, just as good as Notre Dame. But I'm going to go under here because in those games, he had the most explosive wide receiver in the country, a guy that averaged over 20 yards per reception, Jalen Waddle. In fact, in the first 4 games of the season, when he had Waddle healthy, all 4 of those, Mac Jones was over 10 yards per attempt. Since then, without him, he's gone under in 4 of 7 games, under 10 yards per attempt. So for that reason, I'll go under.
For that reason, I'm out.
Yeah, it sounded like Shark Tank.
I'm also going to lean under. He's averaged almost 11.5 for the whole season, but Trevor Lawrence against this Irish team last week or a couple weeks ago had 9 yards per attempt. And in the last couple weeks, Jones has had 7 yards per attempt against Arkansas. Granted, they didn't need him a ton. And then 9.7 against the Gators, where they were scoring at will. So I'm just going to lean with the recent trends and go under.
Ooh, I guess I got 2 unders there. Should have made it a little bit
there.
lower.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to my prop bet here. Over under 34.5 pass attempts for Ian Book. So I would not push, Trey. Please don't push. That's not going to happen.
That's right. The challenge here is that, Notre Dame will likely be trailing and need to pass. And of course, Irish fans, they don't want him to pass this many times, as that's not necessarily their recipe to win. He's thrown over 34 passes only twice this year, mainly because they really haven't needed to. One of the games was in overtime against Clemson and then randomly against Syracuse. Even though I think they'll be trailing, I'm going to say under, because Notre Dame's only chance in this one is to slow the game down, run the ball more, rely on that, and keep the pass attempts down as much as possible. So I got to go under.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm going to go under on this one as well. And for the exact same reason that Trey is. Notre Dame knows going into this game, they're not going to win if they're throwing it that much. They're really their only chance to win is if they're able to grind out some drives and keep that great Alabama offense off the field. So yeah, I'm going to just go with Trey, go under.
Oh man, I set it too high as well.
All right, on to mine. This one, I think I know where you guys are going. Over under 1.5 rushing touchdowns for Najee Harris. I was going to say 2, but I just don't want any pushes.
Fair. I wasn't going to push. I don't push. Michael pushes. Michael's that type of guy.
Shots fired.
I'm going over. Taking the over here. Najee has 24 rushing touchdowns on the year in just 11 games. So that's obviously more than a two average. And, like I said, and I forget which podcast I said it in at this point now, but they really pound him in the big games, the games that are close or the games, that means Florida, Georgia, and the close one against Ole Miss. That's when he gets his highest usage. And I mean, maybe this one won't. Maybe they'll be so far ahead and they won't use him that much. But I'm going to say they do. It's a semifinal game, so I'll say he goes over.
Yep, I am going over as well. If it were 2, I probably would have gone under. Hoping for at worst a push, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Alabama's projected to score over 42 points in this game. If you look at the total and the spread, so those points got to come from somewhere. And Notre Dame actually only gave up 10 passing touchdowns this year. That's first in the ACC. It would have been first in the SEC if they were there. So I'm thinking there could be 2 or 3 coming on the ground.
Yep.
All righty, we'll move on now to bold predictions before we get to our against the spread picks in this game. Why don't we get a little crazy, a little wild, Ryan? So let's do it.
Sure. I know how to do that.
You sure do.
All right, my bold prediction: Devontae Smith will not catch a touchdown pass in this game. Has happened a few times. It's happened 3 times to be specific so far this year. So it's certainly feasible, but it is not likely. So bold prediction.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
My bold prediction is has to do with Notre Dame. I'm going to say that Michael Mayer, the freshman tight end, is going to have the first game of the season for him with over 100 receiving yards. His previous, I'm just not going to say over 100 just in case he lands exactly on 100.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 100 or more. Be specific.
Triple digits.
Triple digits. His previous high on the season is 73. But I think they're going to be playing from behind potentially in this game, so they'll need to throw a lot. That's why I kind of set that Ian Book total, passing attempt total, maybe a little high. And the best tight ends that Alabama has faced this year have all had pretty good games. You go back to A&M, Jalen Weidermeyer had 8 catches for 82 yards. Kenny Yeboah for Ole Miss had 7 catches for 181 yards. And then in that SEC championship, Kyle Pitts, 7 catches for 129. So I could see a big game from Mayer. He's got the talent. He's a 5-star recruit and seems to be, getting more and more targets, as the season wears on.
All right. My bold prediction is, the narrative is set here. Notre Dame, they always get blown out in big games. They're overmatched. Bama's going to kill them. Yada, yada, yada. They very well could. But in my opinion, this is going to be a 1-score game in the 4th before Bama pulls away late.
That would be surprising.
That's bold. I mean, it could happen. We talked about previous episodes. They were a 17-point favorite against Florida, so pretty close to 20, and that was a game at the end. So you never know.
Yep, for sure.
All right, let's get to our ultimate predictions here. Trey, we're going back to you. You're going to put your money where your mouth is, and no, you said Alabama would pull away late, but what's your pick here?
I am, and it's amazing how close we were in predicting this.
Yeah, we did not
talking to each other
before.
No,
incredible. I've got Notre Dame covering. I think they'll make it entertaining, but like I said, Bama pulls away. I've got it 42-24. I just expect a few wrinkles from the Irish since they know how they just performed against Clemson. Ain't close enough to how they need to perform in order to make this competitive. They got one of the best offensive lines in the country. They know that in order to win this game or be competitive, they have to slow the game down. They have to run the ball well, keep the ball out of Alabama's hands because we know how lethal they are. Obviously, that's easier said than done, but that's going to be their game plan. But again, overall, there's just too many weapons on that Bama side where I think they do pull away late.
Okay. Obviously, Trey and I see the game pretty similarly. We predicted the exact same score.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. So I have it, 42-24, Alabama. Notre Dame gets the cover. I think Bama will win easy because, that offense is just ridiculous. You look at the numbers, it's per game, even better than LSU's was last year, which is just insane. And in 2020, as the years wear on in modern college football, great offense is going to be great defense. So I think you're going to be hard pressed to keep Alabama. If you keep them below 40, that is a success. So I think they do go over 40, but I'll take Notre Dame to cover because I think this offense is much better than the offense that got blown out by Clemson a couple years ago in that playoff game. Much better than the national championship offense against Alabama in 2012. I've brought this up in other episodes because those offenses were in the 30s in SP+. This year, they're ranked 13th. So it's a legit offense. Ian Book is very good. Kyron Williams on the ground is very good. Trey, you brought up the offensive line. So I think they can hang in there enough to cover. As far as winning the game, they're a 20-point underdog for a reason. So I think you're going to need to do things that underdogs do. You're going to need to win that turnover battle, which they've been very good at this season. So I could see Kyle Hamilton, if he's healthy at safety, grabbing a pick. I could see Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah making some plays. He's the Butt Award winner, so he's great. The other thing that they need to do is Brian Kelly needs to be aggressive. Like 4th and 1 at your own 40 early in the game, go for it.
Yep.
4th and short in field goal range, go for it. Don't kick a field goal. Like field goals are not going to win you this game. So that's their chance, but I think it's unlikely.
Yeah, they have to maximize every potential, opportunity that they get. Yeah. As far as my score, I got a 42-21 ball game, so obviously very similar to the other bros, but I just have a field goal under in this one, and so that means I have Alabama covering that 20-point spread. And Trey kind of mentioned, Brian Kelly is gonna maybe they kind of saw what happened to them in the ACC title game. They know they need to come up with a few wrinkles to be able to compete here with Bama. And that's at a certain point in my eyes, like it just comes down to Jimmy's and Joe's. Like you got dudes or you don't at a certain point. There's only so much that a coach can do. You can't come up mask just, talent deficiency or a talent gap, I should say, because Notre Dame has talent, but just Alabama's just at a completely different level. And I don't think they can. And no matter how great, I like Brian Kelly. I think he's a good coach. They've done a great job this year, but I don't think they have the horses to keep up. So I say Bama gets the cover and wins the game.
All right, there you have it. There's our Rose Bowl preview. Thank you for watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to check out our other video. We previewed Clemson and Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl yesterday. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. We're trying to get our videos out to more people here on YouTube. So subscribe, of course, and you better be subscribed because next week we're going to have our CFP championship preview. So enjoy the playoff game, and we'll talk to you then.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.